eating a shovel full of dirt, by dancing by candlelight in a full moon. Talk about straw man arguments. It's one of the most unbelievable posts I've seen, and yet it's been shared over 250,000 times. That's the mentality that we have to guard against. Let's go to Alex Jones, who's just called in. Alex, go ahead. Okay, so yeah, we're going to get to Alex in just a minute. I think we had a little bit of a glitch there on our phone line. Let me continue on with what she has to say here. She says, we let you be so privileged thanks to our willingness to vaccinate ourselves and our children. But she doesn't have any tolerance anymore. In other words, you don't have the freedom to make decisions about yourself, about other people. You have a privilege. We allow you the privilege of not getting a vaccine, but we're going to bring that to an end. She says, of course, your kid's not going to develop autism, which they wouldn't because of science. That's her explanation, because of science. So she accuses us of thinking we're going to protect our kids by dancing by candlelight in the full moon, by giving them shovels full of dirt, and yet she doesn't offer any justification for the quote-unquote science. As I just mentioned, it's not the science, it's about the vaccine. It's the same as we talked about before, about French fries that are sold in a fast food scenario. It's not simply potatoes. When McDonald's has 19 different ingredients, some of them pretty heavy preservatives, they fry it in a chemical that is a key ingredient in silly putty. When they do that, it is no longer merely potatoes. It becomes special French fries that you can put under a glass, as they've done in Iceland, along with a cheeseburger that is now 6 years old and hasn't changed a bit. And that's the issue. Don't tell me that I'm getting just potatoes when you give me some fast food fries. It's not simply that. And if this lady would go back and ask some of these questions that the CDC refuses to produce the information. They sent a FOIA request. This is the American Association of Physicians and Surgeons. They sent a FOIA request a couple of years ago, and you know what they heard back? Crickets chirping. Total silence. They haven't received any answers to conflicts of interest, to what tests have you done to test for the efficacy of this? What have you done to test for the long-term effects of these vaccines, and on and on. I just read all those detailed things off. Nobody has received any of this information. When I don't get the information, I'm not informed. If I'm not informed, you're not going to get my consent unless you destroy our individual rights. And of course, that is a key part of what Obamacare was about. Obamacare was about destroying our ability to make our own healthcare decisions, because when the government pays for our healthcare, and that's where they're headed with this, it's not, right now it's a massive transfer of wealth from individuals to insurance companies who are selling us inflated insurance policies that may or may not get us healthcare. You understand the difference between having healthcare and having health insurance. I hope so. You realize, of course, that health insurance is not always going to get you healthcare. And when they make single men buy pregnancy coverage, something's going on here. The same thing is true when we're looking at mandatory vaccines. When you've got the pharmaceutical companies selling vaccines out of virtually every retail location, they even sold them out of McDonald's. They were giving away vaccines. They had you could go there and get shot up with MMR. You could get the tetanus shot. You could get a staph shot there. You could get hepatitis A. I totaled it up. It was like 8 or 9 vaccines you could get right then. What is that going to do? As Dr. Wakefield said when Alex Jones interviewed him last week, he said, it isn't, when you look at these vaccines, it isn't 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. It equals something that is completely different. And his point being was that he wanted to see, instead of the MMR being given to children, to space these things out. And he said when they did that in Japan, they saw a drop in the autism rate. But then the autism rate started going back up again. And as Dr. Wakefield pointed out, they looked at it and they found that even though they had now separated this out into 3 distinct vaccines, they had begun the practice of giving those vaccines on the same day. Essentially the same effect as doing an MMR. That's the question. That's the concern that we have. And when you look at the situation where they come back and they say, as the AAPS also had facts on mandatory vaccines, They talked about adverse reactions to the hepatitis B. They said, well, of course, that's less than 1%. But understand that if you're giving that to 70 million American children, that's going to be 700,000 children that are going to have adverse effects. I think we got Alex Jones back on the line. Alex, are you there?
Yes, I am, David. Thank you for co-hosting with me today. I'm joining you from my home studios, and I'll be co-hosting with you when Joyce Riley, who's battling stage 4 cancer, fellow GCN radio host, lady I've known for about 20 years, will be joining us coming up the second hour today. So we're going to have this very touching, important interview with her and review her 20 years of work or so. She started around the same time as I did, exposing Gulf War illness, having the Gulf War Vets Association, and more, and get her view on world events, alternative treatments for cancer, versus mainstream treatments. So Captain Joyce Riley, who hosts a syndicated radio show for the same amount of time as I have. I mean, I guess I did it for about a year or two longer on GCN, but she's been here for about 18 years. She's going to be joining us in the second hour today. Appreciate you doing a great job there. David Knight co-hosting with me from the Infowars.com radio studios in Austin, Texas. I'm working on a big story. Stay with us.
Hey there, Guns80.com continues to surprise us with low prices and high-quality Ghost AR-15 rifle kits. At Guns80.com, Ghost AR-15 kits are an even better idea than buying at gun shows or through private parties, because the Ghost AR-15 kits at Guns80.com require no background checks, no registration. They don't even have serial numbers. That's what I call privacy. Go to Guns80.com to order your Ghost AR-15 rifle kit. No dealers, no hassles, ship direct. Guns80.com or 844-2GUNS80. That's 844-248-6780.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Hi folks, Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
When an emergency happens, you could be left to fend for yourself and your family. An outbreak of contagious disease can happen anywhere. Because we're faced with more diseases than ever before, we need a better solution than ever before. Fortunately, there is a simple, effective way to protect yourself. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary silver solution that is clinically shown to be several hundred times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver. And it's powerful enough to help protect you and your family from deadly viruses, bacteria, and fungus. Supernatural Silver is effective against more than 500 different disease-causing pathogens without encouraging drug resistance and without side effects. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported and is the #1 choice of thousands for improved health and immune system support. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the code SILVER2015 for 30% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance.
Out your window when I'm leaving.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. I'll be co-hosting in this next hour with Alex Jones. He's at a remote location. I'm here at the studio in Austin, and we're going to have in the next hour Joyce Riley, a host with GCN for a very long time. Of course, a registered nurse, a whistleblower. She's going to be talking to us about her personal struggle with cancer. And joining us now is Alex Jones. Alex?
David, again, I should be back in tomorrow. I'm working on some major breaking news and some corporate deals to get the broadcast expanded and syndicated to television. So that's why I've been missing a few days here and there. Of course, I hosted live yesterday, 4 to 6 p.m. I want to thank all of our affiliates and the listeners out there. But David, you do such a great job when I'm tuned in and listening as you break all this down that I end up calling in early. So thanks for letting me barge in here about 10, 15 minutes early today. But wild horses could not drag me away. What we see with the whole vaccine situation is epic. And people need to sit back and kind of not savor this moment, but realize we're in the game, having a huge effect, having huge victories, not just here in the U.S., but all over the world. If you really research what's unfolding, it's a Brian Williams moment. In fact, I would headline your whole last 30-minute breakdown of vaccines, Brian Williams moment. Because it's the moment when the facade collapses and the lies come out. We've had the Merck whistleblower, CDC whistleblowers, 2 different ones. One, the head of the program, admit that they were basically covering up autism links. We've had the co-author of the Andrew Wakefield study in England exonerated, his medical license given back, and the court said, yeah, you engaged in fraud to set this guy up, basically. You've got all the analysis coming out that vaccines are causing the diseases, that they're full of all sorts of adulterants. And so there's a public collapse in confidence in the system. Everyone I talk to, basically, is either totally against vaccines and has been hurt by them, or, you know, thinks that they can hurt you, but it's overall better for you in the end. But the numbers are coming in, and so there's a Brian Williams moment. So they're doubling and tripling and quadrupling down right now to push their agenda and to say, we're going to arrest you, we're going to kick you out of school, we're going to post where you live like you're a child molester if you don't take these, we're going to push for forced inoculations, we're not going to let you fly domestically if you don't do this. It's the beginning of the Obamacare media tyranny, medical tyranny, where they all bully you and attack you into submitting to this and other social engineering. So this is the big fight. Of course, we've always been on it. You've always been on it. But now the big fight is front and center, and everybody's got to let them have it. I launched a video over the weekend that InfoWars declares war on vaccines. Not on the idea of inoculation and that you can learn immunity. It's that they're given liability protection. They don't protect you. It's a total fraud. There's a social engineering agenda. We know they're engaged in social control, dumbing down, brain damaging, infertility. And this is our big fight. This is our line in the sand. They are physically trying to assault us with these, trying to force us to take these, trying to force us through collectivist medicine to pay for all the damaged people that have autism and other neurological disorders. They're collapsing. So like Battle of the Bulge, they're counter-launching. And in that video titled InfoWars Declares War, really the title should be Vaccine Victims Tell Their Story. Because what it's really all about, and I want to repost it to Infowars.com, retweeted and re-Facebooked under that title. It's a great title they came up with, but the title we need is Vaccine Victims Tell Their Story. If everyone who's a vaccine victim, or who has family that is, or who died from it, gets out, puts out YouTube videos, puts out letters to the editor, we will, as a tidal wave of victims, crush the enemy. So they've got a few fake victims whining and saying it's our fault, they're sick, when it's pure bull. We've got to come out of the woodwork against the enemy in a counteroffensive right now, and we will crush them once and for all. This is their Brian Williams moment. I'm Alex Jones, coming to you from my home in Austin, Texas, and we've got David Knight running the show. Straight ahead, Captain Joyce Riley battling stage 4 cancer.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride, GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race.
And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.